Happy New Year, happy 2026, and happy Wrestling Roundtable. Got another fun episode for you here. It's our first episode of 2026, and I have a strange feeling that we're going to start this episode kind of how we ended our 2025 with asking the question, why does it wrestling make sense right now? Why does it wrestling make sense right now? I'm Ryan Hall, Dominique LaRue, my good buddy, joining us here as always. And Dom, why don't it make sense anymore? Why can't it make sense anymore?
Well, my brother, to start off 2026, how are you, by the way?
I'm just now recovering from the beatdown that Indiana laid on my Crimson Tide last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing great, doing great. Got another couple of books in the pipeline. So, yep, things are good, man. How about yourself?
Good. I'm good, man. We're blessed. I feel you on the Alabama beatdown.
Yeah.
I couldn't stomach myself to watch that game. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I did not watch it because I just was not confident in the team that was on that field, especially the offensive line, which I hope I don't want to see them recruiting the running back from here, that, and the third. I want to see nothing but offensive line guys and defensive line guys for next
Yeah.
season. Like top recruits on both sides of the field when it comes to those lines. But I'm blessed because we're here. We're kicking off 2026 with our episode 47. And did I not tell you to go into 2026 with our New Year's resolution for WWE? My one plea was, please, please, Triple H, make it make sense. And what did they do? They did the total DAMN opposite. Not only did we get 1 year anniversary of Raw being on Netflix, Stranger Things themed, that made no sense at all because the
A-
freaking
And you
season
are a
finale.
Stranger Things fan.
I'm a fan. I was excited. I was like, oh my God, are they finna, like, maybe surprise us with a episode that they was supposed to release, or are they gonna surprise us with a spinoff that they keep talking about, this, that, the third, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing of that aspect. Nobody from the cast was there, not even the Duffel brothers. Uh the closest thing of anybody being related to, like, dressed up like Stranger Things was Corey Graves in a Hellfire Club t-shirt. Like, it was the it was to the point where Adam Pearce, I rewatched Raw before we got on the show. And Adam
My
Pearce looked at
condolences.
a Demogorgon, and was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "It's a Demogorgon. Like, what? Like, how you gonna have a Stranger Things themed show and you don't know anything about the show?" And then, why is it that, as well as I know, when you start off a show, you start the show off, you started off great. We start off with the women. We start off with Rhea Ripley, Iyo Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors. And that was great. We got a great finish. The ladies won. They got the belts back. That's gonna start a whole brand new rivalry of things. Obviously they got to go through the gauntlet of, maybe they go through Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, and then they get to Lash Legend and uh Nia Jax. But that's a branch of storylines that we're going to potentially go through, and I'm excited about that. But then we go from that to Becky Lynch getting the IC title back again. And as much as I hate that, I kind of sense that by watching Maxine. And, like, I don't mean to poo poo on Maxine. She has progressed very nicely. She's still green in certain areas of the ring, but she's progressing. And that's what we want. We want you to progress.
Yes.
And by doing this, I just feel like she's going to regress because you're not going to do nothing with her because she don't have a title and you're not going to feature her against anybody else. And you're going to recycle the same 3, 4 women in the division on Raw. So that just gave both of us the ick because you basically texted me and was like, "Are we doing this again?" Like she don't need that title. That title is supposed to be used to showcase more talent on the show. And then on top of that, we go from that to a random, just random. Don't like no disrespect to Liv Morgan. She needed that match to get back into the universe, WWE universe, get a win on her belt, this, that, and third. Cool. That could have kicked off Raw, right? Or it could have been on
Yep.
another Raw. But why we get her and Valkyra, and that was kind of like a filler match to get to the main event. And then on top of that, all the matches were women, and I have absolutely no problem with it. Absolutely no problem with it.
Yeah.
But we are the 1 year anniversary of Raw on Netflix, and why does it just feels like a random Raw when you've been building it up to be some big thing like anniversary of Netflix on Raw on Netflix, and it don't feel like that. Like when we leave WrestleMania and come to Raw after WrestleMania, it's always star studded because it's like it's so random. You don't know what's going to happen because of the aftermath of WrestleMania or the aftermath of SummerSlam or Royal Rumble or like after Royal Rumble, it's the road to WrestleMania. It kicks off and stuff happens, but it was just like some random Monday night
It,
versus
it,
like
it was
something.
like a random Monday night in July. It
Yeah,
wasn't, there was nothing special about it. Like, if you remember the absolute star-studded spectacular that the Netflix premiere was a year ago,
no, yeah, it was heavy. The Rock came
it
out
was
and
heavy.
no, yeah, Undertaker was there. Rock, yeah,
Undertaker was there. That was that incredible video package that they played, which made me tear up, to be honest with you. But that show was nothing. Like, it's like I texted you after that Becky Lynch match, after Becky Lynch, a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the, yeah, she's a heel. She brags about it all the time, but one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time.
yeah, possibly the GOAT.
She doesn't need that IC title. She doesn't need it. Now, this was not about taking the title off of Maxine. You and I both agree. Maxine is an attraction. She's not, she's not like a workhorse kind of champion. She's an attraction. But Becky Lynch did not need it. You use those mid-card titles to elevate people. You use them to elevate smaller, to elevate a Roxanne Perez or somebody like that. You don't do it to put another notch in a Hall of Famer's belt. Just it doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Period.
That's
Full stop.
that's what exactly. Like we talked about. What did I say about Maxine? Maxine's cap is IC title. I don't
Yeah,
see her as a world champion. I don't see her as an undisputed champion. I see her as an IC champion, and that's no disrespect to Maxine,
not at
but
all.
she's an attraction, like you said. Uh, Roxanne Perez, that's something where we both see her as a WrestleMania main eventer. Like we see her on the realm of the Rhea Ripley, of the Iyo Skies, of the Becky Lynches, of the Bianca Belairs. Like she's that good in
Bianca,
the ring.
yeah.
Uh, Raquel Rodriguez, uh, Did I say her name right? Yes. Okay.
You
I'm sorry.
did.
I got a lot of R's popping in my name right in my mind right here. But yes, I can see her as a world champion. Now, do I see it in the same realm as the Rhea and stuff? No. But she has that like I once again going back to my rewatch, her beating up Stephanie Vakura, I was like, oh, oh wow. Like she got that. I mean, obviously she's been playing the heel for a long time, but something about her just by herself. She's already got that physical attribute about her as being a badass.
Hmm.
So now I need them to inject that in her. Like stop being Liv Morgan's sidekick. Stop just being the third wheel in the Judgment Day. I need her to just be like, you know what? You've been gone, Liv, and I've been carrying the weight. I've been carrying Roxanne Perez. Like we were carrying these titles. Obviously, we lost, but it wasn't on me. And like I don't know, it was something about the night where Nikki came out and kind of interfered in that match and like pushed her in the pole, and she had that dent, like that lump on her forehead. But it was like, oh, it's something about that look on her face was like, oh yeah, she's finna ruin Nikki Bella. And they kind of did something, but not really, because obviously they put him in a triple threat and Stephanie won or whatever the case may be. But I need them to put her in a more serious role. Like like if Stephanie's going to lose, I can see her losing to Raquel because Raquel has the physical attributes of a champion, and like whether or not she has a long title reign, who knows? And quite frankly, who cares? Because I mean, at this point, they just put a title on anybody. I mean, they put a title on Logan Paul. He had what, one or two title matches. Most of the time, we seen that U.S. title on him. He was in the shower with it. He was sleeping with it. He was just sitting in the back of his backyard, looking at his pool with it, and to the point where they just got LA Knight to get it off of, just to shut us up about
Yeah.
LA Knight being a champion. And like, don't I cannot stand them doing it. Like, we hear y'all want somebody to be a champion, so here we just give them a consolation prize of being an IC champion or US champion.
Let let them eat cake. Let them, it's like a it's like you're at SeaWorld and you're throwing sardines to the trained seals.
Yeah, throwing like little pieces of bread and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, throwing pieces of bread to seagulls or something like that. But, if I can piggyback on you, Raquel, the spot that they did with Stephanie. Apparently Stephanie's shoot injured. She's got some kind of like a foot or an ankle injury or something like that. Apparently that's a shoot.
Right.
But and that was, I think, treated as a walk off, as a write off for her to, held a little bit of
Has
time off. But
has some time off. Yeah.
you know, i- if they play their cards right, Raquel, I think, has a little bit of Kevin Nash in her. And I don't know what it is about her, just the way that she moves, the way that she's built, kind of her move set. Like the fact that her finishing move is a power bomb. I think that, if they play her right, if they played those cards right with her, she could be a big star. But you're putting the IC title on Becky freaking Lynch. I'm I'm sorry. That's still, to say that that grinds my gears is a massive understatement.
Like why not have Raquel, not Raquel, excuse me. Or I mean even Raquel, but I don't want her to just cap out at the IC title. I want her to be champion.
Yes.
Roxanne Perez, she can get that belt. She's not gonna cap out at the IC title. She's going to carry it, elevate it. Now we can have Vakira go after her. We can have the Ivy Niles, the Becky Lynches, all those type of people go after her. And then the thing is, we need to break up Judgment Day. I'm gonna just go on and say it. I don't know how long I got to keep saying it until it actually happens,
The
but
more things change, the more they stay the same on
the
that one.
more they stay the same. Dom is hurt with the IC title. We're never going to see that until he gets back, but at least get the IC title on Rickson Perez. She has the IC title. Dom comes back. He got the IC title. Now we got a little conflict of interest because they both got IC titles. Liv is sitting there with no title. She feels some type of way. You get the googly eyes between them two, like, hey, we IC titles, look at champions, look at this, boom, boom, boom. That's the storyline in itself. I already see the writing on the wall with Raquel and Liv. Like Raquel's like, oh, I got a title match. And Liv is like, oh, you do? Like, she's shocked. Like, I'm back. I'm supposed to be getting the title matches or whatever. Like, that's already signs of pull the trigger. Why do y'all keep doing this when y'all put it on the screen? We see it. We think it is maybe going somewhere. And then you just pull the rug right under our feet. Just snatch it.
It's like the stare down that we had between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Fair that never went anywhere.
Never went anywhere. You just put Charlotte in a tag division and just make us forget, or just be like, and that's another thing. That I'm so glad you brought that up. You sit here and try to play with our intelligence, and I'm sick and tired of that. Stop doing that. Like you trying to make us think that we don't remember things or something like that. Like it's on TV. We get to watch it on YouTube or whatever platform y'all want to like make a deal with. You obviously can't go back and watch it on ESPN because the only thing you watch is the PLEs. But stop making us feel like we're dumb when we're not. When we sit here and we see this and it happens, it's right in our face. And we're like, oh, it's gonna go somewhere with this. And then you just be like, oh, let her team up with let her team up with Alexa for the tag team titles. What like Charlotte is not a tag team person. She's always been a single wrestler. Her name is Flair. Her dad is Rick freaking Flair, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Why y'all like no disrespect to Alexa because she's a Hall of Famer too, but at this point, and maybe backstage, Charlotte needs the break. She wants to do, she probably got projects lined up where she needs time off or whatever case may be. I don't know. It just sucks because like this is not direct, and it won't be the wrestling that we grew up on, obviously because evolution. But where is the entertainment aspect of wrestling? Where is that? That
Oh,
is
the
that is
entertainment of sports entertainment. Yeah.
yeah, this entertainment is sports entertainment. At this point, it's becoming a sports business, not sports entertainment. And this is the exact same thing. Not even trying to switch gears, but this is the exact same thing. Why Nick Saban got out of college football because he saw the shift in college football, where college football ain't college football anymore. It's college pro football.
Exactly.
Because I have never seen so many kids up and just, well, we lost to Indiana. Let me just go transfer over here to South Dakota because they offered me 500 more $1,000. Or let me go to Ohio State because they offered me 1.2 million more in NLE NIL deals. Like the spirit of college football is gone because now, granted, let
Completely.
me backtrack. I totally get it because these kids do deserve the money because you have been the kids that panned out after college. Like they deserve their residuals, and I get it. But like at some point, you have to figure out something where you can get yours and they can get theirs, and yet you don't tarnish what makes something great. College football was always great because it was different from pros. It was
Hmm.
these kids going out. play it for the spirit of the game, playing to win a championship, to that camaraderie of football. But now it's become a spectacle of just money.
Yeah. Yeah, believe me, I could go off on a complete and total tangent about this. I've been following the transfer portal over the last week and the absolute poop show that it's become. Um, we could we could go off for hours about that, but just but but to your point, I certainly see the connection with wrestling because we're kind of getting away from what made wrestling great. Like I have said many times on this podcast, wrestling began in high school gymnasiums. It began in bars. It began in church basements. It began where, you know, in front of families. Like in smoky, whatevers. But it just you're get the fact that you're having all these shows in stadiums, I get it. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty badass. But at the same time, what made wrestling great were two guys or tag teams that go in, tell a story about why they're fighting, telling the story with their bodies. And you're getting away from that because, like, the main event of Raw, I think, is kind of a prime example of that
Absolutely.
because if you didn't see it, CM Punk did retain, but there was a couple of good false finishes where I thought that they might pull the trigger on a Braun Breaker title win. But apparently they're trying to extend him a little bit simply because they want to extend his, like they want to extend it to WrestleMania or whatever. And you got to strike while the iron is hot. I mean, it's how Daniel Bryan ended up being champion, you know, what was that, 12 years ago, or whatever it was, with the
Yeah, I
Yes
think
Movement.
WrestleMania
Yeah, it was
30.
WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, 30 or 31. Yeah.
So but at its root, wrestling is about stories. It's storytelling. It's about why one guy is fighting another guy. It's like, Jim Cornette may be a cranky old man, but he made such a great point in a video that has been on the internet for a long time. When you're watching two people fight, that's one thing. But if you know why one person is fighting that other person, that's what makes it compelling. And we're really losing that. We're really getting away from the spirit of wrestling, and it bothers me because there's always room for the plucky underdog, like a Maxine Dupree. There's always room for a stone cold killer, like Braun Breaker, like an Obafemi. I mean, there's always room for the technical masterminds, like your Bret Hart type. But tell me why they're fighting. Tell me why they're battling each other. And until you do that, until you can answer that question in an elevator pitch, that's a problem to me. That's a real problem to me. And I feel like we're getting away from that more and more in this business.
We are because um I was actually fact checking this. Daniel Bryan did win at WrestleMania 30 in 2014, excuse
Yeah.
me, in that triple threat match. Uh we're getting away from stuff making sense because they're cutting the meat of the show. Um, a buddy of mine from work. he sent me a. We was talking about this, and we've talked about this numerous times, you and I, about how the shows are becoming less and less of a show. Like we're getting 4 to 5 matches. Um, Stuff is not making any sense because it don't have any time to breathe, let alone being showcased in a match. And he sent me this link, and this is from an article, something to wrestle with. I think it's a pod or whatever. But WWE executive Bruce Preachers said that WWE limits PLEs to 4 to 5 matches because longer cards, such as 10 matches, which, as I say, 10 matches, WrestleMania 30 had 8 matches in there, right?
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to
Over one night, by
2026,
the way.
one night, by the way, 2026, we get 4 to 5 matches because longer cards causes viewers to forget earlier moments, usually remembering only the main event, which is why WWE follows a less is more approach for its PLEs. Right? The amount of energy I'm holding myself to not crash out on that statement because so you're telling me that my attention span is that terrible to the point where I distinctly remember coming into WrestleMania last year, Jay winning the world title, right? We on a high the entire night off of it. Like going into WrestleMania, watching these matches. If I'm not mistaken, no, the women was night two. But
Yeah.
basically, we can go through that whole card. I remember all the whole card. Then we get to the main event of John Cena. Wait, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was John Cena because we needed
Yeah,
that
that was Nick.
high
Yeah, Nick.
to swallow
Right.
that terrible, terrible finish of a night of the main event. So you're telling me that you're going to cut a show like that? Could you imagine WrestleMania last year only having 4 to 5 matches, and yet we don't get. Let's just throw it out there on the limb since I don't want to waste no time. We don't get the triple threat match of the women. We don't get we get that match on a random Monday night or Thursday night, Friday night, or whatever. We don't get LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. We get that on a random SmackDown or whatever. But we had to stomach that main event of John Cena and Cody with the interference of Travis Scott. Like, excuse me if I'm wrong here, but the reason why y'all cutting these matches is because y'all need longer times to advertise. It's not because of the matches, it's because of you wanting to, all right, let's hurry up and get this match over with so we can cut to a commercial break. Or we can cut to Michael Cole promoting another Minute Maid drink or a Prime drink. Oh yeah, excuse me, yeah. Let's cut so we can get Logan Paul to promote another flavored Prime because he's sponsoring the product.
Let me play devil's advocate on that. I'm with you, but when you have, like a WrestleMania type card that runs 6 hours, like that one WrestleMania that was the main event of Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, the one that they had at MetLife Stadium.
Which was a great man event, by the way.
Great main event. Ended at like close to 1 o'clock in the morning my time, but it was a great main event.
Yeah,
Um, when you have those ridiculously long cards, there's gonna be some filler. There's gonna be some filler matches. There's gonna be some like some pillow fight, with the women. There's gonna be matches where where you're going to the concession stand to get another beer, to get another popcorn or whatever. There's gonna be filler in that. If you make the shows, if you make the matches more important, they're going to be a little bit more memorable. That said, the fact that Bruce, and I read those comments, the fact that Bruce said what he said, that was straight out of Vince McMahon's mouth. Because Vince believed that wrestling fans had the memory of a fruit fly. Vince Vince was convinced that we all had the attention span of a gnat, that we couldn't remember, you know, certain things. That was straight out of
Yeah,
his playbook.
I got one for you. We're gonna do a quick overview. And all right, so this
Yep.
is from Clash in Paris just last year. And if you remember the cards, the World Heavyweight Champion match kicked off with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, Jey Uso. You got Roman versus Bronson Reed, Becky versus Nikki Bella for the IC Championship, the Tag Team Championship with the Wyatts and Street Profits, and then you got John Cena versus Logan Paul, which was one of his final pay-per-view matches. How would you construct that better? And I got one particular match I would just cut right out of off the card.
I'd lose Nikki and Becky. Meant Becky.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 1000%. Because like you said, these matches, to be honest, and I no disrespect Logan Paul, no disrespect John Cena. John Cena's last pay-per-view match, it shouldn't have been against Logan Paul. Obviously, if the cards were right, if certain things would have failed our way, if a particular promoter would have had the decency to be like, hey, let's work out a deal so you could probably work something to where we can make this John Cena retirement match more memorable. We can do a something in the contract. Yeah, I mean, they got lawyers and stuff. They can figure something out to where we could have got Edge versus John Cena, some type of way, or so his pay per view that they got right. It's called the Forbidden Door. All right, John can go perform on your show. Edge can come perform on ours. So that way you can have them two feuding on both promotions, right? Edge come on AEW one night, cut a promo, talk about John Cena, blah blah blah. John Cena comes out talking about Edge on WWE. They meet up some random place or whatever, or do video conferences or whatever the case may be, and you have them both. Do you know how much money they would have made after that? Off just that, I would have paid. I would have paid those $60 for Forbidden Door just to see John versus
Damn
Edge.
right.
Like and I totally get it. And as a business person, I get it. I get why you cut the matches down to 4 to 5. But then I don't. And then like case in point with the WrestleMania that ran to damn near 2, 3 in the morning. That's when they cut it to half. That's when they went night one, night two. Cool. That's the best thing you could have ever done because now you can fill in those potholes of certain storylines. Now these storylines have meat. Now they have traction. Now you can build up a storyline and then go into the payoff. But like when you have some random, I remember R-Truth. Case in point, you release him, he comes back, he cuts his hair, he's Ron Killings. You do nothing with that after that. He goes back to R-Truth, going being goofy, dressing up like John again, and it's like, you know, oh, what y'all just saw him cutting his hair on live TV was just that was just R-Truth being R-Truth. He was just
Yeah.
being funny with y'all guys. He was just clowning. No, no, that was supposed to be a storyline. What happened? What's going on with that? Like that yeah, I don't. They be in that writing room, and I swear I think they just be sitting there like this, just looking at a wall and just like that didn't stick. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and just to add to your point, speaking, it was WrestleMania 18. That was the match. That was the night where the co-main event was Hulk Hogan against The Rock.
Mm, yeah, wish that should have been the
The
main event of the show myself.
classic match that was. Was it a Matt classic? No, but it was one of the like it was one of the most important professional wrestling matches of the last 25 years, in my opinion.
It was like the first icon versus icon. Not the
Do you
first, but
remember do you remember what the main event was of that show?
was it Triple H versus Kurt Angle for the title?
You, you're no.
Oh, I was off. Uh, was it Triple H? And at all?
No, no. You're close. You're close. It was Jericho versus HBK.
Oh my God.
And do you remember how dead that crowd was?
Yeah,
Do you
because
remember
they were
how
so.
bored that crowd was? Because they blew it on on that
How
Rock
you
Hogan
have that
match.
match? Yeah, how you have that match follow Rock versus Hogan? That's insane. That is crazy.
An Another one, that classic, I forget which WrestleMania it was, that Undertaker Shawn Michaels match
That's
might
the
have
one I was thinking.
been
Yeah.
26. Yeah, yeah, it might have been
2020.
25 or 26.
They was in Texas, wasn't it?
Um, Arizona, might have been in
You know I'm
Phoenix,
about
but
I'm about to
be that
I'm
as
about
it
to go.
may, be that as it may.
Right.
Do you remember that was the co-main event of that night? Do you
That
remember
was
the main event was Triple H versus Randy Orton?
mm,
My point is that the shorter match cards keep that kind of just holy crap, that was the main event of that show from happening because when you're when you pace a wrestling show, when you're booking like the order of a wrestling show, especially an important show like a WrestleMania or like a big pay-per-view, you almost got to you've almost got to write it almost like a rock band writes a set list for a concert. You're not gonna go high, you can't go high energy for 2 hours. You gotta have some slow songs. You gotta have some, hold your lighter in the air kind of songs.
yeah.
But your last song is usually gonna be one of your biggest hits. Something that the entire crowd is gonna recognize. In those shorter cards, those shorter shows, you can keep you can keep it from there being any filler. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I hear you 100%. And like when I was listening to you talk about, storytelling and like, or a band writing a perfect set, and you gotta have something to bring them in to start it off, kind of mellow them down a little bit, keep them interacted throughout the show, and then it's getting close to the end, so you got to finish it with a powerful ballad to like send them
Hmm.
off happy with, right? And I think they have gotten away from that ever since 40. After 40, that was probably the the biggest of all time that in recent memory that I can think of because of the fact of the build up to 40 with Cody wanting to finish his story. Um, it looking like he's passing it off to The Rock so we can get Rock versus Roman. Yet, you know, as The Rock called him, Cody crybabies interfered in that to where they had to pivot or let The Rock tell it. He had made a decision to pivot when really, they came to agreement. I don't care what he said. Triple H and they're probably just like, hey, let's figure something out to where you could be involved in this, but it's got to end with Cody versus Roman. So they pivot. All right, we're gonna get this tag team match. You, Seth, with Cody and Seth, Roman and Rock, and just build this up. And it was like a movie. It was basically a movie being built. And
It
then it's
was.
like we're getting away from blurring reality with um, you know, scripted. Because at one point I'm thinking, The Rock's pushing the whole thing about him being at the table and he don't give an F about Triple H, like I'm seriously thinking, which I know, we're humans. We get engulfed in that thinking that it might be reality, but it's really not. Obviously, they sit back and drank a drank a beer together and hey, you remember that storyline we came up with? That was pretty cool. But it made it feel real when Rock is sitting there talking about I don't give a F about what you got to say. I'm the person at the table too. So it was like a power struggle, right? And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
we get
exactly.
to 40 and first night, Cody loses, right? Cody
He
loses. So
took the
now you
pin, right?
he took the pin to the Rock. So now we're thinking, oh God, it's going to be bloodline rules. Anything goes. How is Cody going to overcome this mountain of a difficult task? And you couldn't have written it no better. Obviously, we want to Stone Cold, but no better than how it ended with Cody overcoming the odds, finishing the story. Everybody out there just overwhelmed with feelings. Samantha is like giving this beautiful outro. You can see tears coming out her eyes. She's overwhelmed with emotions, and
Yeah.
it's just like ever since they,
I had tears in my eyes watching that whole thing. It was
I was
incredible.
ecstatic. I was like, "Yo, this is finally happening! I cannot believe this!" Like, even though I wanted The Rock versus Roman, it was just like this
Yeah.
man finally got his win. He finally got that win for him and Dustin, and it was just like Dusty, excuse me. It was just so great. And then ever since 40, it just was like we not even close to that. And I I hope they finna right the ship by putting Roman on SmackDown and maybe get Cody versus Roman again. And like I was telling you before we started the show, the only way you can right that ship with Cody is Cody cannot be a babyface going against Roman. You can't
You
get
can't.
Cody versus Roman with the current state that we're at. And this thing that Drew has been looking at with Cody and it not go anywhere to where he just finally cracks and quote unquote sign with the devil, shake hands with the devil in the final boss. because now you create a power struggle. Well, not even power struggle, but you kind of create a power struggle within family because The Rock is the final boss, but Roman is the OTC, right? And now you're basically teaming up with the guy that kind of just broke our family in from the jump. Because Cody teamed with Jay, they won the undisputed titles, I mean, undisputed tag titles. He was kind of the snowball that kind of destroyed the bloodline, if you want to spin it that way.
Yep.
But I just, I just need them to right the ship, and then because like you said, the main event was great. Like everything about it played out perfectly the way it's supposed to play out with. But the only gripe that we have as fans, true fans, is the fact that this man kicked out of a GTS. And then that's another thing. I was talking with my buddy at work, and I kid you not, he said he hasn't watched Raw in 20 years. He watches Raw first time in 20 years, and he's like, "What the f is this? Commercials, the women only wrestling, and then all this product placement with the ring looking like a graffiti of just advertisement logos. And then the main event is old dude beat. I mean, a elder guy beat that monster of a man, like that beast, that unit of a guy. The man leaped from the top rope, the top turnbuckle, onto CM Punk, onto a table. The man did a. He was about to do a hurricane rana off the top rope, botched it, hit his head on the mat, but still got up and was going full speed the entire night. How are you going to explain to me? And I get it. He was the CM Punk ain't no way in the world he should be going through, but he did because them two are kind of like evenly matched because of the CM Punk has experience. You can play that role, and then he is technically sound in the ring. But Bronson Reed is a freaking cyborg, right? And you keep boosting it up. He's a future WrestleMania main event. He's this and that. He's thoroughbred. He's the second generation of the Steiner brothers. Blah 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 blah. But you keep taking L's, and I don't know how many L's you're gonna keep taking up until you finally get the big win at WrestleMania, but WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, whatever the case may be. But when you have so many L's built on top of L's, does the win really make it that much impressive, right? You can't make it to the Super Bowl off of losses. You can't make the World Series being down 3-1 or however they do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, granted, the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? They were down 3-1. No one has ever came back and win the NBA Finals from a 3-1 deficit. Blah blah blah. They come back, beat the Warriors. That was the most monumental moment of all time in NBA history. I get that, but this is different. This is wrestling, storytelling, right? I get it. They trying to go the route of you get knocked down, you come back up. Get knocked down, you come back up. You get knocked down, uh, whatever the case may be. But this is a heel. He's a heel. Division is a heel group. They're supposed to be the new evolution. They're supposed to be taking over Raw, right? But you got these luchadors coming out kicking y'all ASSs, and then you got a
Yeah.
50-year-old man putting you to sleep for the third time. But you're supposed to be a future WrestleMania attraction. Man, get out of here with that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I just don't it's and then you got Cody over there just like super Cody. I mean, how many times the man is going to win over and over and over and over till we just like are done. And I mean I don't want to gripe too much on Raw or SmackDown because it's a particular comment that one man has said recently. And I don't take full offense of it because I mean parts of what he said is absolutely right. I totally agree with about the IWC and their thoughts on things. And they have many thoughts, just including this. But
Yep.
it's rightfully so because we're the people, we're the consumers that are consuming what y'all give us and we're paying for it. So obviously we're going to have our gripes about it. But I do understand CM Punk's comments that he made recently on a podcast that you sent
Yep.
the video to me about, you know, we'll on one particular person, Jay Uso, basically. He's the guy that most people like to poo-poo on. And on this podcast, we have our gripes about Jay, but they're rightfully good debatable gripes because we're not sitting here saying that Jay is a horrible wrestler or he's just like why y'all keep pushing this guy because I'm the one that sat on this show with a shirt and was like, I hope Jay wins the Royal Rumble, blah blah blah. We was giving our predictions. Obviously, we went with the safe picks, but then we had our dark horses, and Jay was my dark horse, right? And he did it. And oh my God, the IWC had lost their absolute mind. Why the freak would y'all put that dude, in that spot? John Cena should have won because his retirement tour, or CM Punk should have won, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, y'all don't understand. This guy is hotter than fish grease, right? This man steps to arenas and people lose their absolute mind. And like I said recently, I said, I wish they would just do Jay rightfully so like they need to and stop making him just an entrance. Give him some compelling stories. The one compelling story that keeps playing in my mind is when he first left Bloodline and he was starting to become this person. He was starting to become the Yeet Man, the Yeet Master, whatever you wanted to say, what puns with Yeet. And like you start seeing the growth in him. Like he wasn't just the right hand man. He wasn't just the the other brother. He wasn't just, Jimmy's brother or whatever the case may be. He was actually Jey Uso. Like the feud he had with Roman, the conflicting things in his mind about like his family and where he lies with them and where he lies with his friendship with Sammy and stuff like that. That was compelling. That was what a story
Yes.
is. You had mixed emotions because either he'll super kick Sammy and we pissed off about it and like, oh my God, you went back to the bloodline and this and that, or he finally stands up and he kicks Roman in the face and he's protecting his brother and he was like, if you're out, I'm out. And it was like that's what we need. We need stories. Where's the stories at? Because now we keep getting rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We basically getting to that point where this is what Jay is doing. He's doing this because it's a representation of what WWE is doing. You keep putting the same people in the same situations, in the same storylines, and like I get it. You want to sell tickets, so we're gonna put the guy with the biggest name as the champion and stuff like that. But when are you going to take the necessary steps? When are you gonna take this what is that? What you put on a bicycle? The training wheels. When are you gonna take the training wheels off and let some of these guys take the take the bull by his horn? CM Punk won the title. Yay. Awesome. He lost to Seth Rollins. Oh crap. He finally gets it back. He's running with it. He don't need a long title reign.
No.
It's time to give I'm about to say Bronson Reed, Jesus, uh, Breaker, because he's the leader of the division, a group that Seth Rollins started. They kicked Seth Rollins out. I mean, if you gonna sit here and put all the titles that you can think of on Judgment Day and have them walking around Raw week in and week out with those titles, what
A group that
makes you
shouldn't even
think,
still be alive anymore.
right? What makes you think that not putting that title on Brian Breaker last Monday night was a great idea? But you can sit here and tell me that putting the titles on Judgment Day, which with Judgment Day at the time was a compelling story because Bloodline was on SmackDown. We got all these superstars on Raw, and you can't put the title on Breaker and have him walking around with that title on his shoulder and showing why division is division. I and I and before give the mic to my bro, I totally feel Paul Heyman when he said, "I miss the old ways," because you sit up here and you finna show season 2 of Unreal, and it's showing all the dirt on how things are being made and discussed about, which isn't making anything better on their end because now we're seeing how you're actually are cooking up these storylines
We're seeing how the sausage is being made.
and it doesn't make any sense. So you are furthering pushing our narrative of make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. What comes up for me as you're saying that is just the whole idea of the whole rinse and repeat thing. Because when Vince McMahon was at his worst, it was the same crap, different smell. It was the same
Yep.
thing week after week after week.
Let's put a
And
title on Brock Lesnar.
it's starting to feel like we're kind of going down that same road again. And I look at some of the talent that is on this roster right now. Brian Breaker, prime example of that. Athletic freak, physical specimen, charisma. He can talk. He's got, great looking kid. He's got it all. But what do you do with him? How do you keep his heat after taking the L Monday night? Can you keep the heat after taking that L Monday night? I don't know if you can because you've got like short of giving him a Royal Rumble win or an IC or an Elimination Chamber win. How does he keep his heat? How does he keep his heat as the killer that they need to book him as? Because he had potential to be like prime Brock Lesnar, like 2002 to like 2005 Brock Lesnar, when he was a killer trying to do shooting star presses at WrestleMania and damn near breaking his neck. Um, they need to be booking him like that. And can you get your heat back after taking that elegant CM Punk? And the way that it's going, I don't know if he can.
There's one particular way that I feel as though will definitely give him a lot of heat. Um, and to take credit from Attitude Era is what is one thing a heel always used to do back in Attitude Era, where you know he loses like he just did, and then next Monday night, the champion's feeling good about itself. They love to show the superstars walking into the arena, right?
Hmm.
CM Punk walking in with his coffee in his hand and the title on his shoulder. Oh, CM Punk is in, and then boom, out of nowhere, here comes Breaker, spearing CM Punk through a wall, and then pulling him out, beating him, not to say bloody Pope, because I mean, they don't do blood too much no more, but just beating him to the inch of his life, as it seems. And just like I am about to make your life a living HW hockey sticks. I am about to just destroy you until I get my title match again, until I get what I want. Because that number one has always been the recipe for any era, really. Because it shows your heel unhinged, number one. Number two, it shows him being not like he's not at like nonstop. I am not going to stop until I get what I want. And number three, it makes the babyface that much more vulnerable because you keep putting them winning clean like that, and it's making them like they're untouchable. Case in point, Cody Rhodes situation, which I love the fact, and this is hilarious because I sent it to you on social media, but it was like a meme of like Cody Rhodes getting held back by all these folks, and it was like one thing to set off Cody Rhodes is print out a picture that you can print out online and cut into a picture that anybody can get of him and his father. It wasn't even a sentiment. It's like it wasn't a sentimental photo because it's the same photo you can get online. Now, if it was like some random picture that we've never seen, I can understand.
But it's
I would
something
be
he
pissed
printed off
off.
of Getty Images, probably.
Right. Google. He just printed off Google. He cut it up, burned it up right in front of Cody. Cody, we've seen that photo since you started in WWE. Like, it's no different photo.
Yeah. Well, what he probably did was, was an intern ask him to send him a photo of he and Dusty. Cody got on his phone, texted the intern the picture, and the intern had it printed on probably not even photo paper, probably had it printed on just like regular paper. And that was about as ridiculous as the whole feud that he had with CM Punk over that bracelet.
Which it probably wasn't the actual bracelet that he wears. It's probably just some bracelet put together and just,
By an intern, probably,
by
by a
intern, and
PA.
then Drew put it down his boxers and just
Uh,
yeah. But but the thing was, I get that feeling from the Drew and Cody Rose feud. Even though you take that picture out of the
yeah.
equation, Drew gives me the old feels of a heel that you just cannot stand, but you totally respect because everything that comes out of his mouth it makes sense. You try to go against the heel, but he's speaking the truth, and it's like he makes you he kind of warps your brain to think like Drew is telling the truth. Like Cody, you're out here, and me and you go back and forth about this all the time. When he comes out in that suit, he's gonna cut a promo. He may or may not get physical, but when that mug come out in that jogging suit, or he comes out with that sleeveless shirt with them jogging pants or whatever, oh he fighting. It ain't no he just coming out shaking hands, kissing babies and stuff. He's coming out to fight.
And don't forget the watch chain. Don't forget the
And
watch
yeah,
chain.
the watch chain. Can't forget that. But like Roman said, like Drew and anybody else, Cody, you're a facade. That whole dress suit, you got to dress as a champion so you can be a champion, this, that, and third. Okay, I can understand that when you wasn't a champion because you wanted to feel how it felt to be a champion so you could prepare yourself to be a champion. So now when you've reached that mountaintop, you can't keep repeating what you did to get to that mountaintop because it's a different type of air you're breathing now. So like my question to you is right, Roman Roman with or without that title, is he still the same person?
Absolutely.
Okay. Drew with or without that title, is he still the same person?
Yep.
Randy Orton with or without that title,
Totally.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Do you see a trend I'm going with, right?
I do. Yeah.
Cody with or without that title, is he the same person?
Can't say that he is.
Okay. In my eye, Cody is he's established himself as the same person, but at the same time, part of me still feels like Cody's character is always the chaser. He's better the chaser than he is the champion.
We've been saying that till we're blue in the face.
Because I feel with Cody being the champion, it's not a mountain unobtainable to climb to get to that title. When Roman had that title, it was a mountain to climb. Um, Brock, it was a mountain to climb, right? Stone Cold, it was a mountain to climb because Stone Cold would stump a mud hole out of you. Like you may got the upper hand on Stone Cold, but you better watch out for next week because you had no idea what he would come out with. He would either hit you with a car, he would either come pull up in a what's that
Yeah, the beer
Banzoni
truck.
with the beer truck, but then that thing that they use to clean the ice on a
Oh,
yeah, Camboni.
like a Zamboni machine.
Zamboni, yes, that's what it is. Yes. He'll come out there on that. Like it was you never know. He'll put you in he literally put Vince McMahon's limo concrete in it and destroyed his car. He flipped Triple H in a limo with a forklift. Like we need to get back to that. We need to get that's the aspect of entertainment that I loved because it's like on any given night, you couldn't expect nothing because anything could have happened. And like that's the type of champions or guys I like because like Brock Lesnar when he was going against Roman, right? He pulled up in a forklift and hit the car. Like he was trying to like really stamp, like I am coming for you, Roman, and I don't give a darn what I got to do to get to you. Drew, same thing. I'm pulling up. I'm going in your bus. I'm gonna go take a dump in your toilet. Kick my feet up, whatever, eat some food in your refrigerator, this, that, and third. He didn't care. He just was doing anything to get under Cody's skin.
Go in there, drink your vodka. I mean,
Drink
yeah.
your vodka, maybe start me a podcast up in your bus or something. Like Cody is in this day and age, right? I get what they're trying to do, but you cannot be a clean cut baby face no more. You got to have
No,
some type of edge to you.
not an Adam Copeland edge, but a real edge.
Absolutely. I'm talking
Yeah.
about it ain't got to be rated R, but it got to be big. It definitely got to be PG-13. And Cody ain't even PG-13. It's PG. I mean, like he's somewhat PG-13 when he keeps saying some off the wall stuff sometimes when he say he say the F bomb here, he do this here, but
All
like
right.
I need edgier, Cody. I need the we got a glimpse of it when he pulled up to Drew's house and was trying to fight him at his own house. I get that, but
Yeah.
I definitely need a little bit more. I need him to cut his hair black. I mean, do it black. Give me the I'm not fully aware of what this Cody Rhodes was in the Indies, but what Ring of Honor Cody or TNA Cody or whatever Cody that was when he was just talking out the side of his neck. And I mean, he even called his own wife a name he shouldn't have called her, but like he need to be that. I mean, if you can sit here and say the F bomb and stuff, go F yourself. Obviously, it's there, but the higher ups are too conservative and just like scared to like let that side out. And even Cody said it. He said, if I go heel, it's not the version they want. It's gonna be, a darker Cody. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be Cody Raheem. Cody Raheem is gonna pop out. That's what it's gonna be.
I'd
Look,
love to see
you
it.
thinking about it right now? You
No,
thinking about it.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, I thought he was already kind of trending towards Cody Rahim anyway, but
Ah, yeah, it's slowly creeping. Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely creeping.
yeah. Yeah, well, we're just a few weeks away from Royal Rumble. We're going to be giving our Royal Rumble predictions here coming up in a couple of weeks. And if you have your Royal Rumble predictions, love for you to leave a comment on our Facebook page. Love for you to leave a comment on our videos, and let us know who you want to see from the men and from the women in the Royal Rumble coming up in Saudi Arabia here at the end of the month.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we definitely going to post the the predictions. We would love for y'all to leave a comment, and
Yep,
also we would like for y'all to leave a comment on. I mean, y'all can leave a comment about anything. Raw, uh, what y'all disliked about Raw, what y'all can't stand about WWE at this moment, what your predictions are tomorrow on SmackDown. Um, I mean, the list goes on and on. So,
exactly. Exactly. Well, last thing I want to hit on briefly before we wrap up here. Did you guys have any idea that Javon Evans got called up to the main roster? And I know you do, but I'm just asking, did you guys have any idea that Javon Evans got called up to the main roster? I mean, the fans in the stadium had knew, but they sure as hell didn't show it on TV. And I don't understand why, because, well, I do understand why. You had to get in some more promos for Stranger Things, which congratulations to Javon Evans. Both Dom and I are huge fans of him, but they did that man dirty.
oh man, they pulled a Jokic. They pulled a Jokic. Jokic got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, and they played a commercial over his, reaction. Like, they normally show players' reaction or their celebration when they put on the hat of what the team that drafted them or whatever, and you don't see Jokic at all. You see a commercial, a Taco Bell commercial. And I can't even tell you what commercial played during the moment where they signed Javon Evans, but the fact of the matter is, and we knew it was writing on the wall because we keep seeing them on Raw. But the fact of the matter is, you have this big free agent, wonderful talent, amazing talent. So you tell me you would rather show a backstage interaction with anybody, okay? But you couldn't even give us 2 minutes of Javon Evans signing a contract. Like you
You
showed Stephanie Valkyrie getting beat up again by Raquel Rodriguez. You could have just saved that for what happened in the ring. Okay, we see her getting beating her down in the ring. That's cool. Boom. All right, let's slide over to Javon Evans signing his contract. Nope, nope. But you can go back to see Stephanie Victoria barely walking backstage with a guy holding her hand, and he was smiling. He had a big smile on his face because he was holding her hand. And I get it, brother. Okay, I totally get it. But my man got the biggest disrespect of 2026 so far. We just got a weekend, and this man is already getting disrespect. And like, if y'all do this to Open Femi, I'm crashing out. I'm putting it out there in the universe right now. I'm crashing out because you do all this promotion for Open Femi, and then you turn around and you pull a Javon Evans on him. I'm crashing out. I'm sending an email to Triple H. I'm sending an email to Bruce Pritchard. I'm sending an email to Paul Heyman. He gonna get straight, and he ain't even did that. I'm gonna send a email to WWE, whoever in the big city. I may pop up on you, Ryan. We're gonna pull up on WWE.
There you if they do that to Obafemi, our next episode is going to be rated R because
Oh, I'm looking
we are
forward to
both
that.
going to lose it.
I got a lot of choice words that I've been wanting to say, but I haven't been saying because I would like to keep our pod at a listing of everybody. But
Right.
that episode is gonna be strictly adult. You're gonna have to put E at the end of that one because it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
nothing but F's, S's, and all kind of words. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that
yeah,
doesn't
I hope not.
happen.
I hope. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, not even just don't Javon Evans. If y'all get this man up here and y'all don't build this man up to be an absolute killer the way y'all did Gunther, and we don't get Gunther versus Obafemi in 2026, I'm not even worried about later on. I need them this year because the fact of the matter is the crap. See, I almost said there. I almost said that's where the crap that we had to deal with in 2025. We need to go on fast forward this stuff because me and you been called this. We've been called this. If Gunther was going to be John Cena, it should have been for the IC title. You build up Obafemi to face off with Gunther for the IC title, but yet you choose to give us Gunther beating John Cena, choking him out, and then you got him coming out with a shirt that said "tap like a B," but yet you try to make us think about you tapping out John, but then you just tap out like a B to Jay Uso for the world title.
Oh, you forget. Wrestling fans have the memory of have the long-term memory of a gnat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you want to sit here and have me pay for a shirt that's $30, tap like a B, but yet your picture ain't on the shirt.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. I don't
So
want that.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, on that incredibly positive note, I think it's time to go home. Dom, welcome to 2026. I hope we end up 2026 a hell of a lot better than we started it. I know that.
If if y'all gonna be a Saudi Arabia, you better make that you almost almost cut it. You better
Breathe,
make that show
breathe,
worth it.
Dom, breathe, my brother.
They better make that show worth it. I don't care if you got to dig up uh Kurt Angle, please don't be mad at me. I'm not even gonna use the word. I'm sorry. I don't care if you got to use peak angle, okay? Somebody better make a surprise entrance. You better dig deep. I mean, like uh, Shawn Michaels got two new knees. He need to come back out as the Heartbreak Kid again. I mean, I know he's too grown to be Heartbreak Kid. He be the Heartbreak Unk, but all I'm saying is the Royal Rumble better be off the chain because we got to watch Royal Rumble at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When the last time ever in our lifetimes where we had to sit and watch Raw freaking Rumble in the afternoon? It's always been primetime night, 7 o'clock, building up.
Yeah.
It's damn. It's darn almost
Breathe
nine
on.
o'clock, and we're
Breathe on.
getting. Yeah, I know.
All
Who the
right.
Saudi Arabia? Saudi freaking.
USA, my brother. USA.
Yeah, we better get the Rock flying in on the flying carpet. That's all I got to say. That's all. That's it. I got it. That's it. That's all I got. I'm leaving it on
All right. Before we get too much in trouble, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Wrestling Roundtable. You don't forget you can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Follow us on our Facebook page. We're still looking to give away that signed Mick Foley T-shirt, so come by and see us. And until next time, for Dom, I'm Ryan. You've been listening to the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. Until we yeet again, and yes, I said it. Take care.